So welcome to another episode of the Web Marketing Show. Today we have Gideon Shalwick, and I'm very excited to have you on the show. Gideon, welcome along.
Thanks for having me, Brett.
Awesome. Gideon, I think one of the key things about you and what's so exciting about you and your background is that you're the genuine thing. You've got a real rags to riches story. And, many of us have the dream and if you're watching this video today, you may be in this position, I don't know, so you work for a boss, you're in a job that you don't like, you've got a great education. I mean, you're an engineer, but one day the penny drops and you think, what am I doing? I'm working for somebody else. I'm not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying the fact that I'm making money for somebody else. I want to have a crack at this internet marketing thing. But you didn't start out with millions of dollars. In fact, you're pretty much on the bones of your backside for months, and I think you sent your wife out to work, and you went without. And now you're actually at home doing what you love and making a six-figure income. So you've got an awesome story. You had a few failures along the way and you picked yourself up. So Gideon, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here. And tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh, thanks for that introduction, Brent. It is like you say. It was at the beginning. It was hard yakka, because I went from a pretty comfortable job back in New Zealand, where I was earning a very comfortable salary. We had a pretty comfortable life, and we decided one day we wanted a change, and we wanted to create something that we could own, create our own asset that could earn us an income, whether we're there or not. And that was sort of the initial idea. And so me and my wife, Tineke, we decided, okay, well, let's quit our jobs and immigrate to Australia, start from scratch again, really. We sold all our stuff. We landed in Australia. I think the only thing we brought with us was our bed and our computer, and not much else. Our house was fully empty. I think we just had the bed and the computer, basically. Wow. And we brought the bed because it was, an expensive wedding purchase that we had, and we thought, we better don't want to sell that. But anyway, and we needed something to sleep on anyway. So that was the start of us. And I really didn't know what kind of business I wanted to start, and I settled on an online business because it seemed the most appropriate, for what I wanted to do. I wanted to be flexible with where I work, with when I work, in terms of hours and things like that. And it just seemed like the kind of business that I could really scale, and there's a high profit margin for it as well. So it just had all those boxes ticked. And so I couldn't actually get a job in Australia, and the way that we could get into Australia was for my wife to get a job, and so that's how we got over. And so she was earning the money at the beginning, while I was mucking around with the business, trying to figure out how to make money with an online business. And so it took me a while. I remember telling my wife, I said, look, if we can't make our salary back that we had in New Zealand within a year, then we really don't deserve to be paid that salary, or that money. And so in the first year, I think we made something like, I don't know, I forget the numbers, but it's around about, I don't know, $11,000, and I spent something like $12,000, and so, I was making negative money in that first year, and it was a bit of a slap in the face, thinking that, here I was in a nice salary job, I was earning some good money, and now I can't even earn positive money. Is that really the value that I can offer to the world? And it got me thinking, and I really had to change my mindset. I had to change from, I guess, the employee mindset to entrepreneurial mindset, which is a very subtle but very different and very dramatic change. And it took me a while to get over that conditioning of what I had previously. But I eventually got there, and had when I say eventually got there, I had a few projects that didn't do well. Actually, my first project was really quite successful. I wrote a little book and sold that, and that got distributed to 77 countries in the world.
Wow.
And that was really nice, to see how that worked and see money coming in from that. But it wasn't a business. I didn't know how to get traffic, so it quickly died down. And I had to figure out how to get traffic. So I had a couple of other projects that didn't do well. Finally, I teamed up with a business partner of mine and created the Become a Blogger brand. That went really, really well. I went from negative money to building that business to about over $20,000 in income per month.
Wow.
Within a couple of weeks of launching. So that was fantastic. The next project I did was in the first Become a Blogger was a video project. The next one that I did was in the magic niche, but also using video and specifically on YouTube, and that went really well as well. We've had on that channel. I was only there for about 18 months, but we had millions of views on that. We built it up to about 100 email leads per day. When I left, we had about 50,000 email subscribers on that business, which was great. It was fantastic, and it just showed that what we were doing was working in niches other than how to make money online. So we wanted to prove that. And then I did another project, I guess more for my own, where I started teaching people about my experiences online, the mistakes I made, the successes that I've had, and how other people can follow in the footsteps specifically with video marketing. So I guess that's the short sort of summary of my online career, and it's been so much fun, and I guess I have a lot of gratitude for what online video has been able to offer me, and I still love it, and I think we're still scratching the surface in terms of where things are going.
Yeah, awesome. That's a very, very inspiring story, Gideon, and particularly, and I've been reading your book as well, and I'm going to put a link here, for people to download your book, because it's a great book, and it tells more about your story and everything like that. But some of the numbers that you talk about, they sound incredible, but to start a business. Okay, so I mean, already you were successful. You wrote a book and you got it into 77 countries. You would sort of think, wow, I can sit back and relax now. But that wasn't the way. You created a business with a partner and started making $20,000 a month. I mean, does that happen normally?
Well, what is normal,
Yeah.
It required a lot of effort. It's not something that just happened overnight. It took me quite a bit of time at the beginning to just figure out what is the right business model for me, and to figure out, because there are so many different business models online too. And I think that's one of the challenges at the beginning. It is so overwhelming and so frightening for a lot of people. They don't know where to start. And there are so many different options. It's just diversified so much over the last few years. And, it's difficult to think, where do I start and which direction do I take? And I think once I figured that out for myself, that's when things really started changing for me. And I think it's consistent also with other successful people and businesses. When you look at, once they've figured out what their sweet spot is, everything else starts falling into place. And they eventually get to a breakthrough point where things just really start happening for them. And that's exactly what happened for me as well. Once I figured out what that sweet spot was for me, things just moved forward a lot faster.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And then you had some results with your magician friend. I mean, to get 1 million YouTube views, was that within 12 months, 18 months?
We probably got a lot more than that. I can't remember the exact figures. It was probably more like 4 or 5 million within the first year or something like that. I can't remember the numbers. It was quite a few years ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was something that people just loved, and it just immediately took off and grew very fast. So and that was a fantastic case study for us, just to see the amazing power of using something like YouTube to generate exposure and traffic to your site, which was just amazing.
Okay, awesome. So you've had a lot of experience with YouTube and video marketing, and that's what we want to sort of talk about today, because you've written some awesome content around it and around your success stories. So talk to us about in particular YouTube. Can we just create a couple of videos, put them up on YouTube, and sit back and wait for the money to come in? How does it work?
Yes.
Awesome.
That's it. End of interview. No, I think you need a very clear strategy, and for me, it all starts with finding that sweet spot for depending on if you're doing this just for yourself or for your business, you need to have very clearly defined your sweet spot, or it's really your hedgehog concept, either your hedgehog concept personally, or the hedgehog concept for your business. And that's extremely important to get right. And I think there are a lot of businesses been operating for quite some time, and they haven't really figured out their sweet spot, and same for individuals as well. We sort of go day by day and doing things that we're not really gifted for, or don't have a unique ability in it. And so I think that's the starting point, finding your sweet spot and making sure that you're operating within that space. And a wonderful book to read on that is Good to Great by Jim Collins, where he helps you figure out what your hedgehog concept should be. And I'm using this term hedgehog concept. I'm not sure if you'd like me to explain that a little bit.
Please do. Yep.
Right. So the hedgehog concept is something that's been just instrumental in helping me be successful, not just online, but in other aspects of my life too. And the whole point of it is to help you find your sweet spot, what Jim Collins calls your hedgehog concept. And it's the overlap of three things. It's the overlap of firstly, what you're truly passionate about. Secondly, what you can become the best at in the world, or one of the best at in the world. So that's a skill-based thing. And the third thing is how you make money from it, or as Jim calls it, your profit per X. So when you look at those three things, there are three circles in your life or in your business. They'll overlap in one little bit there in the middle, where it's something that you've found that you can be passionate about, that you can build a skill in, and that you can make money from. Once you've found that little spot, your hedgehog concept, and you just work at that. Eventually you just get to this breakthrough point and you become unstoppable. So that's the first thing I think is to become really clear on that, because everything else flows from that, from building your channel and figuring out your target audience, which is just tremendously important, and then figuring out what kind of content you can create for them that they would respond naturally to and would want to share with their friends. I often see YouTube channels that are just sort of like a shotgun approach. They just create all sorts of things and try and catch all sorts of people. They don't have any focus. So this hedgehog thing helps you get clarity and helps you get focus, not just for your business, but also for a content strategy on YouTube. Okay. So that's the first thing. Get really clear on that. Once you're clear on that, then you can start thinking a bit more. I mean, part of that is figuring out who your target market is, who your target audience is. Who is it, and how many of them are there, and if you're running a business, if it's a business that you're trying to set up, do those people have access to money? Can they pay you? Can they pay you? And are there enough of them to pay you, or can you set up something that is premium enough to make a good income from? And I think that's a very important distinction there. You can get a lot of views and a lot of traffic, but if it's low quality, then it's really, and you're trying to make money from it, then it's not really much point. So that's really important. So once you've got that clear, once you know the topic area that you want to operate in, and you know who it is you're trying to target, then the next thing really is to start creating content. And the principle here is that you want to create content that is really valuable to your target audience. And once you've gone through that process of your hedgehog concept, that will sort of become a natural outcome of that. You'll start realizing, hey, this is what my target audience really wants. And you start creating that content on a regular, consistent basis. And that's the starting point of everything, creating amazing content over a period of time that builds an authority presence for you on YouTube. And over time, that becomes a big asset, an asset that is leverageable, an asset that keeps on sending you views and traffic, an asset that gives you that exposure or that domination. The strategy is all about being everywhere all the time at the same time. It almost sounds like you're becoming God or some sort of a...
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you talk a lot about the sweet spot, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, we can't drag ourselves out of bed in the morning to do something that we don't like. If we wanted to do that, we might as well be working for somebody else at a job. And you've talked about in your book that you absolutely love what you do, and for you feel like you're a big kid, and you don't want to go to bed at night because you're too excited, and you leap out of bed in the morning, and you just get to play with stuff that you really enjoy, and that comes through. You're obviously very passionate about, in particular, video marketing, playing with all the gadgets, and so you're just like a big kid, but you're getting paid lots of money for it. How does that feel?
Yeah, it is great, and I think that's part of having that clarity and focus. Is that you can get up in the morning and just think, I'm going to work now, in inverted commas, if you're listening to this. You're really going to play because you're working in an area that you're very interested in, that you love, and that you just want to continually learn about it because you're so interested in it. And when you're aligned with that, it just makes it so much easier. Just like you say, I just want to get out of bed and get to it, and it doesn't feel like work. And I think that helps a lot. I think also if you look at all of the really successful people, maybe not all of them, there's always exceptions, but there's always a massive passion element within what they're doing. They're always extremely interested in what they're doing, and they're not just doing it for the money. They're not just doing it to get paid. They're doing it because there's an intrinsic love for doing it. In saying that, though, I think what's so beautiful about the hedgehog concept is that it looks at not just the passion side, but it also looks at, can you build a skill in that area? It's no point being passionate about something, but you can never become good at it. People are not going to pay you money if they don't think you're good at it. So it's got to be something that you're passionate about, so that it keeps you going. That's the reason for the passion. But the skill area is the reason for that is so that you become valuable. You need to be able to have a value proposition that other people would be interested in giving you money for. And then the third one is just bringing it all together. It's like profit per X. How are you going to make money from this? Are there people there who would want to pay you for that skill that you're developing in your area of passion? So they all just work together really well to help you keep going and get paid for doing something that you really love.
Awesome. And I think there's just too many people that are, getting into business because they think, hey, I want to make money. And they don't really think through, well, hang on, is it something that I enjoy? No, I don't care if I enjoy it. I'm working for a boss I don't like. I want out and I want to go and do something. And, I believe it's not going to work for you, because if you're doing something you don't enjoy, it's going to come through. Your customers are going to know about it. Your suppliers are going to know about it. You're not being true to yourself. You're not going to enjoy it. And I think you're going to set yourself up for failure. As opposed to, I can't remember who it was who said, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And, and there are other people who say, do what you love and the money will follow. Well, that's not always the case. I mean, we all do things that we love, but they're not necessarily profitable or make us money. So you're in an awesome, position where, you're getting up every day, you're doing something you're very, very passionate about, you're constantly learning and playing around with new concepts. So, talk to us about the money. When does the money come? And what kind of money can you make doing what you do?
All right. So the key thing with this is building an audience. The strategy here is to build an audience of essentially raving fans. People who like, know, and trust you, and as many of them as possible. And from there, once you have that following, you can do some amazing things because of the process of the way that that I talk about of setting it up. By the time they get to your business funnel, in other words, when they opt in for your free report or for your free course, or they get into your database and they get presented with an offer, by that time, they will have already seen maybe one or two or three or four of your videos on YouTube, and it's not like they're coming in cold. So they get there and they're ready to do business with you. And so that's what it comes down to. So the strategy is YouTube, the purpose of using YouTube is for traffic generation and relationship building. Those two things go hand in hand. And you do that through a content generation strategy. So creating regular content to your target audience that they love and they want to spread with their friends. You do some extra social things on YouTube to help increase your exposure. But the idea is you build the viewership, you build your subscriber base, you send that traffic or that views to your own online assets.
Yep.
Like to your own squeeze page or to your own blog
Yep.
or to your own sales page or whatever you've got. And you build your own database that you own. I mean, it's wonderful having a YouTube subscriber base, but at the end of the day, you don't actually own that. YouTube does. And that's quite a risky position to be in because, YouTube has been known to shut down people's accounts. And you don't want to be in that position. So it's good to build your own database, either through Facebook or Twitter or email subscriber base. Email is still very strong. But Facebook has obviously taken a big step forward as well with that. But the idea is you build your own database, and once you have that database, you can really do magic. I mean, then you can promote your own products.
Yep.
You can sell advertising on your own blog, for example. You can join the partner program on YouTube and get paid for people viewing the ads or clicking on ads on your videos on YouTube. You can do affiliate marketing. You can send traffic to affiliates and get a cut in those affiliate income. Another one that's probably an amazing one to get started is simply just to do consultancy work. Use YouTube as a lead generation tool to do sort of consultancy work, because for that you don't need the product, you don't need to spend time on building something. All you really need is traffic from YouTube, send them to a squeeze page, and from there you can follow up with people to do some consultancy work for them and get paid by the hour. Now, of course, this is a little bit like a job still, but you've got control over when you want to do it,
Yep.
and also you can set the price. So for a lot of people just getting started, if you already have a skill that you can help people with, that's often the quickest and easiest way to just get started, just to get cash flow coming in. As you get cash flow coming in, you can use that cash to create products or more websites or more online assets to help create more leverage and grow your business that way.
Awesome. And I mean, we could talk all day. You obviously know a lot of stuff about YouTube marketing, and then you touch on blogging, and of course you've got a course on blogging as well, and
Right.
so it goes. Just give us a bit of an idea about numbers. So like, you see some YouTube video clips that have got, thousands, hundreds of thousands of viewers, and then their whole channel, millions, and sometimes
Yep.
tens of millions.
Yep.
What kind of somebody who's got millions and millions of viewers on their channel, are they making money? What kind of conversions would they be getting from people that watch their video that would actually click and go to their website from that?
They are getting paid well, given that they're getting millions of views. So here's the thing: for those guys getting millions and millions of views on their videos, they are making pretty much a full-time income from just the partner program on YouTube. So for that to work, you need to get millions and millions of views, really, to have a full-time income from that. Now, we tested that on the Magic channel, and what we found was that we could make about 10 times as much money as we did from the partner program. We could make about 10 times as much money on our other back-end products and promotions than the money we were making from the partner program. So, for example, we could make $1,000 a month from the partner program, and we were getting, say, 10,000 views a day. So, because the partner program is really, you really need a lot of views to make decent money from that. If we build our own backend with our own products and our own promotions, we could probably times that income by 10 with the same amount of traffic. So we could make $10,000 from selling our own products and services and affiliate promotions and things like that. So that's sort of a rule of thumb that we discovered. The other rule of thumb that we discovered, that for each subscriber you can get on YouTube, you can probably get about 3 email subscribers. So if you've got 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, you can probably get about 30 email subscribers on your list. And from there, it really depends a lot on which niche you're operating in. If you're in a niche where perhaps there's just a lot of teenagers and they don't actually have any money, you're probably going to make less money unless you have a really big audience. But in terms of your return on investment. If you look at your number of views and in terms of how much money you can make from it, you'll probably make less compared to, say, someone who targets a group of people that are perhaps a little bit older. They're well established. They have money coming in from their businesses, and they're happy to spend some money with you online. You don't need that many views to make a decent income. And I'll give you an example. One of my best promotions using video was when I ran. It was an affiliate promotion, so I didn't have to create the product. I didn't have to build a team. I didn't have to do technical support. I didn't have to do customer service afterwards. All I had to do was promote this product. In total, I sent 4 emails to this offer, and one of those emails sent people to a YouTube video where I talked about the offer and the product more. That video only had about 4,000 to 5,000 views on it, but in all, with that promotion, I sold about $100,000 of product.
Nice.
And I tell that story not to impress people, but to rather impress upon people that you don't need that many views if you've got the right target audience to make some really decent coin.
And a call to action, obviously.
And absolutely a call to action with that. And you can do some very clever things with video to help you get some amazing actions from people. Absolutely.
Awesome. Gideon, we're kind of running out of time here. What recommendations? Obviously the first thing would be to download your ebook and read through that and get in contact with you about obviously where you can go from here. What kind of things could we be doing right now in our business if we're not already using YouTube, or perhaps we are, but it's not effectively working for us? Should we stop everything, start from scratch? Are there things we can do to fix up what we're already doing? What piece of advice could you give us today?
Well, when you look at traffic, I think the name of the game online is there's 2 keywords. One is traffic and the other one is conversion. And so you need both to work well. When it comes to traffic, the more sources you can get, the better. And also the higher the quality of the traffic, the better. In other words, the more targeted the traffic is to your target audience, the better. Then it comes down to conversion and turning that traffic into leads and customers. That's really what it comes down to. Now, when I look at YouTube and a YouTube strategy, I look at it as a long-term strategy for building traffic, and it's a way to dominate a specific niche. When you submit a video every single week, and you keep on doing it for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, like I've been, over time, you start ranking for all those different keywords within your industry. Sure. And if you're doing it well and you're providing great content, you're simply going to dominate. I rank number 1 on YouTube for how to get more views on YouTube. And that video has sent me a lot of traffic. And the reason why it's ranking so high is because I don't only just have that one video, I have a ton of other videos as well that all supports this whole online video marketing niche. And there's been a lot of competitors, and people are creeping up and they catch on to the strategy. But this is what it's about, is building that authority on YouTube, because you rank on YouTube. YouTube's the second biggest search engine, but you also rank on Google, and you build an audience. People start noticing you. You become like a celebrity, either you or your brand, and that has tremendous value in the long term. So the YouTube strategy, YouTube content strategy, is not something that you can just do within a week or 2 weeks or a month. It's a long-term strategy, but if you stick at it, you can really dominate. And if you work diligently at it, you can own a niche, you can own the space, you can become the number 1 person or business for that space. And once you have that position, you really become unstoppable in terms of what you can do online.
Awesome. Okay, so it's kind of a cat and mouse game. Your competitors are always going to be snapping at your heels, but you got in there first, and you've kind of already built an asset over a 12-month period or whatever. That's something that takes time. Nobody new can come into the market and create 12 months worth of content if you got in there first. So from what you're saying, your recommendation would be start doing it now.
Well, that's one thing. The other thing to realize also is that With YouTube and with creating content, if it's personality based, it's always going to be unique. And people, there's a wonderful sort of a quote or a saying that I got from I think it was John C. Maxwell. It was a book on leadership, and one of the principles he talked about was that for leadership, people buy into the leader first before they buy into their vision.
Sure.
So in other words, there needs to be a relationship first before people want to do business with you, and it's exactly the same on YouTube. So the relationship is with a personality, it's with a real person, and that's a unique thing. So someone else might be in exactly the same niche as you, but they have a totally different personality, and they attract a total different audience because of their personality. So even though there are competitors, I have competitors in inverted commas, it really doesn't matter because you're true to yourself, you've got your own unique hedgehog concept, competition becomes irrelevant.
Yes.
We're all sort of have our unique abilities, and when you operate in that area, it doesn't matter. And so you build your own audience regardless of what other competition is out there, which is a very great thing, which is different to say, I don't know, setting up a fish and chip shop. You're location specific, and you're competing against other fish and chip shops who there's exactly the same product, and you're competing on price essentially. With this, because there's a personality here, that's what makes it unique.
Yeah, you stand out. I live on the beach. There's 4 fish and chip shops all on the same corner of each other. I'm like, how do these guys even compete? How do they do business? But yeah, on YouTube you get the opportunity to be unique, to be yourself, and that's what people buy into. Gideon, it's been awesome. You've really shared some awesome insights with us. I really appreciate having you on the show. Where can people get in touch with you?
Well, probably the best place is to go to the site. I'll surely have a link for it below here, and that's where people can download the report. There's a lot more, detailed information on the strategies that I use for building an audience, I think that's probably the most valuable place they can go. I am in the process of redoing everything this month, so that report may not be there for much longer, but I'll have a new version of it or something else that will be just as valuable. But go and check it out, and that should give you a really great head start for going forward.
Awesome. Gideon, thanks again. It's been great, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.